Listen, today's video is going to be a serious one. It's about the B word. Budget. Alright everyone, let's talk about the B word, budget. Now, budgets are often met with a bit of animosity. It's likely that is because you have some kind of negative association with the word budget. When you hear the word, what do you think? What emotions do you feel? Is it work? Is it restriction? Is it fear? What is the first thing that pops up when you hear the B word? If you instantly draw a negative association with the word, I'd like to encourage you to shift your thinking. A budget isn't about restriction. It's much bigger than that. A budget actually empowers you to tell your money what it's going to do. This is much better than it being the 20th and you going, where did my money go? Budgets keep you from having more months than money. The importance of a budget is extremely evident when self-made millionaires are examined. A lot of people have the mentality that if they just made more money, that all their problems would go away, but that's not necessarily true. He who is faithful with little is faithful with much. If you have no idea where your money is going working a minimum wage job, then it's more than likely that you're not going to have any idea where your money is going if you had a six-figure job. And the data supports that. One of my favorite books that I highly recommend everyone read is The Millionaire Next Door. And this book is pretty much a case study of just that. The book looks at kind of medial income, maybe a little bit higher than that income people, and pits them with quite often high income earners that we as society all know that they're higher income earners. So it would be something like a teacher versus a physician. And what the authors found that several years into their career, guess who has the higher net worth? Chris Hogan with Ramsey Solutions led a study of self-made millionaires, and they actually found the exact same thing. Of the 5 most common millionaire net worth professions, physician was not one of them. So despite physicians being the highest paid occupation in most states, they don't necessarily always have the highest income. They don't necessarily always have the highest net worth. One occupation that did make the list, teachers. This just emphasizes that it's not always about how much you make as much as how well you manage what you have, and this is why budgeting is important. Now, some of you may have never budgeted before, or maybe you tried once and didn't stick with it. You may wonder, what exactly is the best way to budget? Well, we'll talk about a few different budgeting styles, and you can try to figure out which one you think might work best for you. The first budgeting style is a strict every dollar accountability budgeting style. One of the most popular budgeting plans within this style is the envelope system. Basically, you determine how much you're going to spend on a particular item every month, and you put that amount of money in the envelope. So for example, let's say you decide that for this month you're going to spend $200 on groceries. You take $200 cash money, put it in the envelope, and that is your grocery budget. You cannot shift around envelopes, and because you overspent on clothes, go snatch money from the grocery envelope. You have to keep those envelopes dedicated to those things, and when they're out, they are out. You are done. So if the 29th rolls around and you've got a couple of cans of tuna, a can of beans, and a box of pasta, it's time to get creative. This is a great budgeting system for anyone that's paying off debt and maybe margins are a little tight. If there isn't much space between your paycheck and your payments, then you can't really afford to lose track of $50 here and there, because for you, that's a lot of money. bad side is, of course, is that this is a strict budgeting style, and of course, life happens. It's important to kind of have a miscellaneous envelope if you choose this style, because things are going to happen, right? You're going to get into a month, you're going to set your budget, you're going to be going, and then you're going to be like, oh man, it's my sister's birthday. Those sorts of things happen, so it is important to keep like a miscellaneous oopsies envelope if this is the style you're going to choose. Another downside is if you're like most millennials, you pretty much order your life online. This is exactly why I failed at the envelope system. I would leave the house and forget my envelope behind, simply because I just wasn't used to carrying cash anymore. Not only that, but I even shifted to pre-ordering my groceries online and going to pick them up. So there's almost no circumstances in which I was even using cash at all anymore. I was ordering everything online. Still am. The next budgeting style is a percentage-based style, and a popular budget type within this style is the 50-30-20 budget. You take 50% of your income, and that's going to cover your living expenses, food, water, shelter, transportation, your needs. 30% will go into your wants, so that's going to include things like entertainment, eating out, and Netflix subscriptions. 20% would then go toward your financial goals, so whether that is debt pay down or wealth building. The good thing about this budgeting style is that you can adjust the percentages to your lifestyle. The bad side is if you are carrying debt, it can take you a really long time to pay it off. 30% on wants is pretty substantial. I mean, think about it. That means for every $1,000 you make, you're spending $300 on things you don't need, but you're only putting $200 towards the debt. That can end up being a little bit of a problem. So if you have debt, this may not be the best system for you. If your income is lower than average, this also may not be the best system for you as well. But if you're debt-free and your income is at least average or a little higher than average, then it's possible to make this style work for you. Now, the last budgeting style is the pay your first strategy, and I absolutely love this strategy, and it's what we use. As the name suggests, you pay yourself above everything else. Now, this doesn't mean you pay yourself to go blow your money, but you're paying yourself with a specific goal in mind. So whether that is investing or saving for a down payment on your first home, you pretty much treat yourself like a line item in your bills. And this budgeting style is actually fairly easy to do once you're debt-free. Now, albeit for me, it is a bit of a misnomer. I don't actually pay myself first, but like I said, I do treat, for example, our Roth IRA payments as if it is a line item in the budget. It's not negotiable. It has to be done every month. This is actually why the pay yourself strategy is so effective for so many people. Treat it like it's a non-negotiable line item. So many times we do the opposite, right? It's like, well, of course we'll pay our bills, then we'll go do wants and hang out with friends, and then lastly, if there's anything left over, then we'll try to save it. But then, oops, life will happen, and then we'll end up pulling that money right back out of savings. And that's kind of the backwards way to do it if you think about it, right? So it's almost like, oh, I'll blow $300 hanging out with friends this month, and then have $100 in the savings, but really maybe you should save the $300 and then say, hey, I got $100 to work with when you're hanging out with your friends. That's going to get you so much further ahead if you do it that way. Alright everyone, that was probably the three most common budgeting styles. Let me know what sort of budgeting style, if I didn't mention it, you use. What ones have you struggled with? What ones have you found success with? Again, the pay yourself strategy has been fantastic for me. Let me know down in the comments what works for you guys. This has been Personal Finance for Us. We out.